people that don't want to watch games. They don't want to watch film. They don't want to put in the time. They want to look at his stats and this and that and watch a few plays and go, oh, yeah, it was the worst QB performance, and he's terrible now. And bring up all these hot takes. It's like, yeah, there's it's not excuses, but there's reasons and things that can easily be corrected, and things would have been a lot different, and you'd be thinking a lot different to this QB and how this offense was operating at this point. It's not that difficult to figure it out if you put in the work.
My biggest take is, so yes, week one was basically his preseason, getting his feel of live game action in this offense. And the thing is, you got to think Rodgers is the type of person, he gets pretty hard on himself when he makes a mistake on the field. So you got to imagine when he's in the film room and he's looking at that, he's seeing the same stuff we're seeing, brother. He's seeing, man, there's two guys in the flat. How did I not see him? Like, why didn't I pass that? Like, I can see him progressing in this offense this week. I'm not going to say it's going to come out and look immaculate, but I think he makes the easier throws. I think he makes the checkdowns a little more often because I think he's going to realize after seeing how he is in this offense on live tape.
We just said that this isn't going to take off till around week 5 because he's going to have about 4 preseason games. And do you know what the biggest thing these first 4 weeks are you're going to see the change in over these 4 weeks? That's slowly going to the progression of these so-called preseason games these first 4 weeks. Do you know what I honestly think we're going to see and why this is all going to work out in the end, Dave? Do you have an inkling what I'm going to
Why, Jay? I have an idea. I'm just gonna let you go ahead and say it.
Well, take a little guess. I like to play little games. Come on, take a little guess.
No,
what do you think?
I don't want to. You go ahead and say it.
No. Okay, well, fine. You're always being mean to me. So, we are really going to see the process of Rodgers making these same mistakes like week 1, but like Dave just said, he's a smart enough guy and a hard enough guy in himself and wants to win and wants to carry it. And when he looks on film, the process over the first 4 weeks and what's going to end up happening slowly and why it's going to end up breaking through is that he's slowly going to start to see on film and make 1 or 2 decisions instead of holding the ball. And it's a trust factor. He has all these years of all this shit of not being able to trust the system. He's doing this mistrusting, honest to God. And I've been hard on him, Dave. Have I not been? I've been hard as hell on him.
Well, you've been very hard on me. I'm right there with you.
Okay. And so I'm not being a homer here. This is an actual logical. This is what I've thought about and what I'm going through in my head trying to figure out this. This is the best way I can explain it for all you people out there. He is going to go through a process of slowly trusting this system more and making those throws. And by week 5, I believe, through watching film and being so critical, seeing I didn't need to hold the ball there. There was 2 open guys. The offense was there. I could have just done it, and this guy could have done it. I need to do this. And by week 5, he'll have full trust in this system. Because guess what's going to also happen here? His defense is going to win him a bunch of these games. And so Aaron's also going to be in there going, Christ, if I would have done this and this, it would have been so much easier. It's a good thing my defense. This guy, as much as he loves his defense, he does not want to go win a Super Bowl and have everybody go, he got carried by a great defense, because he's that competitive. And so I really believe, Dave, that there's going to be a 4-week process. It's not only preseason because he's rusty. I still believe he's got just at least 6 or 7 plus years of built up bad habits and mistrust, and there is a building of trust and a self-criticism that's going to go through while he's watching film and seeing, just like you just said, just like we see it, he's going to be able to see it. All I do is get rid of the ball there, and I don't take that sack. We move to a 3rd and 4 instead of a 3rd and 15, and we give ourselves a better chance to convert and da-da-da-da-da. And that's what I feel is going to happen. Am I crazy?
No, not at all. I mean, and that's the thing. Like you said, he can't go make 9 adjustments in 1 week and expect it to work. I didn't even think 3 adjustments because he's that smart. I think 1 to 3 adjustments, you're going to see, yes, you're going to see him make those checkdowns. You're going to see him go to the flats. You're going to see him go to the little quick slant passes, but the ball's going to be up where it's supposed to be, like the old Aaron Rodgers we saw from like 2 or 3 years ago. And I just think that, yes, the bad habits are there, but you got to thank Mike McCarthy for that, because he's the one who's always putting Rodgers in those situations to make those kind of decisions.
Well, that's what I'm saying here. And again, I'm prefacing it by letting people know, if you're a first-time listener or whatever, and this is the first time you've heard me talk about it, I am letting you know, Aaron Rodgers, to me, whether you like it or not, and you're going to roll your eyes, he is the GOAT in my eyes. That's why I'm hard on him. That's why when I watch things, I get so pissed, because to me, I can hear it while I'm watching film, the shit people are going to say, and it just aggravates me, because it's like, Aaron, you know better than this, you are capable, and you can be better than this, and therefore, why aren't you? Why are you giving, with all the things people do, why would you do that? And, but again, you have to step away, and people are human, and you got to try to find explanations and reasons and try to explain. And it's pretty easy. There's a lot of bad habits because there was a lot of pressure and a lot of broken and just non-working offense for him, and it caused him to create a lot of bad habits and a lot of mistrust and really putting it all on him. And it's going to take some time in live game action and watching film afterwards for him to actually see it himself that, God, I missed that. I took this sack and I didn't need to. This guy was open. And for him, that's the only way he's going to be able to actually build the trust. It's not going to be his. That's where the funny thing comes in. It's not his in LaFleur's relationship. It's not his and the receivers' timing and their relationship. This is really an Aaron Rodgers and a trust factor in the system and the way he's had to play over the years. And so this is an Aaron having to marry the system, essentially. It has nothing to do with another human being. It really, and as funny as it sounds, he's going to go through a dating process to where he's going to basically propose and get married to the system by around week 5, as funny as it sounds, I guess, in layman's terms. I mean, I guess that's the best way I can say it.
Well, moving into something I know that you were kind of irked up about, the Everson Griffen comments.
Well, it's not so much whatever, because, it's not, I'm not mad at Everson Griffen, because I think some of it was tongue-in-cheek, but what it did irritate me is that it brings up the fan bases. And it's this idea that all they do is hold. They hold Mac. They hold Everson Griffiths. They hold Bakhtiari's just good because he holds. They hold. You guys, first of all, it's a very lazy take, because, yes, you can see them holding the jersey. Go look up the damn rules. Like, essentially anything inside that pectoral area, as long as your feet are in your body are in front of that defender, that's legal. When you get outside of the shoulders and the torso and outside of the shoulder pads, even if you're in front of them, they're going to call that. But it is completely legal and a part of the rules and pass blocking technique. Inside that pectoral pad area, that chest plate area, you are allowed to grab even jersey and shit and hold, as long as you are staying in front and like moving along with. If that guy starts to get sideways on you and your feet are beat and you're still holding, they're going to throw the flag. So it is completely within the rules. It's every offensive lineman does it, and I'm sorry, but guess what? I don't want to hear this bitching, because I have never in my life, as far as I can ever remember, of hearing a defensive lineman get called for a holding call on a goddamn run play, and Kenny Clark got a holding call on Thursday night on a run play for holding. So I don't want to hear this. They never called it. Yeah, and so I didn't even know that was a freaking rule, for God's sakes, because I never even heard of it before. So I don't want to hear this crap about hold. It's like, learn the rules, guys. Know what refs are looking for. Know what the rules state and what is and isn't allowed, and stop with this straw grabbing bullshit. It's ridiculous. It's good defenses get beat plenty, and they beat their matchups plenty of times. It's just the way football is.
Well, you know what? To go back and say that, I mean, there's also some players that there's not even a holding penalty, but the defensive players are so good at selling it, where all they have to do is torque their body and look like they're turning a little bit. The refs will call that most of the times. And, I mean, sadly, defensive players have learned to kind of take that where they turn a little bit while they're turning that, like, say while they're turning that corner on a tackle. If they just turn their open shoulder a little bit, and that hand on the shoulder, it's going to get called most times.
Oh, it works both ways here. So yeah, like you said, I mean, there's a game there with both sides. It's not like all defensive pass rushers are just morons and can't bait refs into giving them holding either. Like, that's a very definitive and good thought there, Dave.
Also, I was listening to Nathaniel Hackett talk today, and someone asked about Mercedes Lewis, and he goes, yeah, how about that old guy? He goes, he had a heck of a game for week one. He was there whenever Aaron needed him, and he's going to be on the field for receiving plays moving forward. And I about cheered my hat off when I heard him say that, because, man, Mercedes Lewis is such a talented tight end, and it proves my point, I think. Tanyan, Big Bob, you're going to have Big Bob, Mercedes, you're going to have, and Graham all have a big game as one unit on Sunday. I think we're going to come out with 2 or 3 tight ends and a lot of looks.
The use of tight ends is a beautiful thing in this offense.
Very underrated. Very underrated.
I mean, even JB noticed it right away when he was talking about the game on last Thursday when he watched it. It was one of his points of emphasis that he said it scared the crap out of him that they had figured out how to use tight ends again.
Well, when I mentioned that Jimmy Graham hurdled a defender, like, he didn't do that stuff the last year, and I just think maybe this offense has put a little bit of a spring chicken feel in him, where a little bit more life in him is making him just feel a little bit younger. Not a lot, but just enough to make him kind of get that extra talent he had left in the tank.
Dave, we've talked about this many times with several different people that have even been on the show and asked us the difference about what we felt about McCarthy when we've talked to him. And it's everybody. Look across the board at the end. Look at how Aaron acted at the end of that game. He hasn't had energy like that. I mean, that's not just we won. That's actual happiness and joy of not just winning, but of your team accomplishment, okay? The whole team is like this, dude. So, no, it doesn't surprise me that he looks better and that he's more engaged and he's trying to hurdle guys, even though he's still lost a step. I mean, let's be real. He's still not the Jimmy Graham of old, as good as he looked. But, dude, mind over matter. If you all feel better and are happier, you are going to be a little younger. You are, like you said, going to have a little extra bounce in your step come game time.
A little more pep, yeah.
Because the week of the process to get to the game isn't such a drag on you that it almost brings you down instead of getting you prepared for games. And I think the Mike McCarthy era, the last at least 4 years, became a drag, the process to get to game day. Honestly, I mean, just looking back at it, and I was going back, I was a guy that was on Mike McCarthy's side right down to the very end, really, until that last year where it just got to be too much for me at that point. And looking back on it now, we do this all the time, dude. Whether I was on air at that time saying it or not, I was just wrong about him looking back at it. This was a broken thing for at least the last 5 years. especially going back to 2014, moving on, it wasn't good, and it was an fast eroding, and it eroded fast, and then just was kind of stagnantly bad for the last 2-3 years.